So the one question I had was, is the built environment actually transformed? Is it transformed for women? And I couldn't answer the question, because I sat in meetings with my supervisor, I was for the longest time the only girl in our department with about 8 QSs. So in our meetings, I never said anything. And my supervisor changed the system around on how we conduct our meetings, and he made it compulsory for everyone to speak. So when the question's always, how is your experience as a woman in construction? I struggled, because I don't know if the answer is the industry is not transformed, or if the answer is I personally suffer from imposter syndrome and I'm the one that's preventing myself from going in there. So that's my question to you, Claire, because that I don't know. And then when it comes to social justice, I think as a white person, really, how did you get into it? How did you understand a community? Because this is, again, it's a bias again, but most people wouldn't think white people had the same challenges as, for example, Black people. So how did you just get into it, and how do you then get more white people, for example, to be involved if they're not involved? So I don't know. Again, that's a very big stereotype that I'm throwing in there.
Okay. Let me try and answer the questions. Yeah, I would actually think about the response. Okay, I would be wrong to say that I believe that our industry is transformed. You know, there's a lot of issues that, you know, it's not transparent. That's my biggest problem that I have with our industry. And I don't know, as, say, a senior architect, if I'm being paid the same as the male senior architect sitting next to me, because our industry is not transparent about what it pays people, about promotions, and there's no real accountability. And it's partly because we work in very small practices. I mean, even the biggest practices in South Africa are not huge. So they don't have huge systems. I see my husband works for Microsoft, and in Microsoft, being such a huge corporation, they have actual systems in place where you know the level of your salary. You know that these are the targets you have to reach to be promoted. And because we don't have these systems in place within our organizations, it's very difficult for women to know whether or not they're being discriminated against. So we're a far way away from that, I think. And once again, you have to ask yourself, you know, when you get upset, you think, oh, this man must be earning more than me. So part of that is also taking it on yourself to sort of demoralize yourself and devalue yourself, because it's a global trend, so therefore it must be happening in my organization. So that transparency, if we can get the transparency going, it'll help with that, to cut down on that type of self-doubt. And but we're definitely not there yet. And why social justice is so important to me personally is because of my journey. One of the very first projects I worked on was the Gauteng Online project for all the schools in Gauteng. So basically, it was a project in order to put computer facilities into all the schools in Gauteng. And we had a huge amount of schools. It was about 40 schools that we had to go in, do an analysis of what we need to do architecturally in order to get a computer lab. Either reuse a class or build a new class, or, you know, what was required. And in order to do that, I had to meet with the principals. So here's me, this white young lady, going into Cutler Hall, talking to the principal, finding out how we can help him. And I must say it was scary because as white people, you know, during the apartheid era, we were taught to fear black people. That's where I come from. And I think a lot of the children, obviously you walk through the school and you see all the children and they all come running up to you, and you feel like, well, they also see me as being somebody completely different. They've never seen a white person in their school necessarily before, to come and do an audit. And I realized that there's this sort of so much disconnection in our country that has no merit. You know, when I actually sat and talked to the principal and understood what he needed, it was just two people trying to work towards one purpose, and that is to get these children the opportunity to learn. There's no race there. It's just people focusing on providing a need. And that whole experience changed my life. I think it was by far not a glamorous job as an architect, like the lowest of the low jobs for architecture. You're basically building one classroom in an entire school, but it had such a huge impact. So yeah, it's experiences like that during my life that have taught me the importance of always keeping that focus on social justice.
That's amazing. That's amazing.